Hello and welcome to the 37th episode of the podcast. I'm Gabe.
I'm Caleb.
And today you guys are watching episode 37. Like I just said, that was redundant. But, Caleb, why are we recording an episode on a Friday?
So it's actually really funny. We recorded with Tony Rubleski.
Yep.
And that's dropping on Monday. And we realized we misspoke and said episode 38.
Yes, so we decided to not go back and correct it, but instead, let's record an episode 37.
So we got more content this week.
Yeah, definitely. So, what are we talking about today?
Today we are talking about what does strength mean?
What does strength mean?
Strength means, that's on the spot here.
Yeah, it definitely is. I feel like it's a very opinionated answer and question.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess we'll start with the definition of strength. Strength is the capacity of an object or substance to withstand great force or pressure.
And that is the definition, correct?
That is the definition.
That's such a Hannah Teckle move right there.
Yeah. Well, yeah, Hannah Teckle is actually the first one to put an actual definition on our podcast. So shout out to Hannah Teckle for introducing this idea to me.
Absolutely.
So yeah, we do a lot of interpreting around here, but why not we start with the fact of what strength means and then do our interpretation on it.
Okay.
So once again, strength is the capacity of an object or substance to withstand great force or pressure.
Mm-hmm.
So when it comes to strength in your life, do you view it as that?
I guess in essence, that is something no one can argue with.
Yeah.
But it's very interpretational to each situation. But at the very bottom line, yeah, I guess I would say that's what I view strength as.
Yeah.
Obviously, I wouldn't use exact words like that. I would say someone who can withstand challenges is a strong person.
Right.
But in essence, that's what the definition is.
Yeah.
What about you?
Yeah, I definitely, strength, I feel like comes in many shapes, sizes, and forms.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of the times when we think of strength, we're so used to, like superheroes and all that stuff, superhuman strength and
Bodybuilders.
Yeah, and all that stuff. I feel that a lot of strength in our lives goes unappreciated.
Definitely.
As far as a challenge coming your way and even not tackling the challenge right away, but accepting that it's there and preparing for it, that takes a lot of strength.
Oh, yeah.
Opposed to just trying to run from it and hide from it.
Absolutely.
And so I wrote up this little anecdote here, this little analogy towards weeds, right?
Okay.
Those pesky weeds.
Yep.
You hear about them all the time. So they just sit there. They don't look strong. They don't act strong. But why do weeds have such a stigma as being pesky and annoying,
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, well, they don't look strong, they don't act strong, why can't you just get rid of them?
Right.
And so weeds never give up. They have persistence. Despite being torn down, they show up again. They come up in many different forms as well. So in real life as well, strength comes in many different forms. So they come up as dandelions, crabgrass, etc. But despite the pressure and force that they receive to be defeated, they always withstand it. And so how can we give a pesky plant such recognition for being persistent and strong, but not ourselves? We need to change that mindset. We need to change that perspective on ourselves.
For sure.
It's not just tackling a challenge and overcoming it. That's not strength. It's tackling the challenge or facing a challenge, even if you fail. And so and then always coming back up later.
Right.
And reattacking it either at a different angle or a different approach.
You know what's cool about weeds is that one of their biggest strengths is their roots. You can't just pull a weed. And if you just see the top, you don't see the roots, it'll grow back, and it'll grow back more.
Right.
So that's kind of a cool thing, too, with weeds.
Yeah.
It's a really cool analogy.
So it's like, it's kind of like our bones. It's like if we create a strong structure, not literally our bones, but like figuratively, like if your bones are strong, no one can mess with you. Yeah. It's like your foundation.
Right.
And so that's kind of, applicable to us as well. Like weeds, if you don't touch the roots, and with us, if we have strong roots, then we can, even if we don't come from a lot or we came from a traumatizing youth, we can grow up and recreate our roots.
Absolutely. And another way you could view weeds is that if it's a problem that keeps coming up in your life and you just decide to haphazardly tackle it and pull just the top of it and go, okay, it's good enough, I don't see it, it's still there and multiplying. And that's true with every problem you will face in life.
Yeah. If
you don't actually take care of it until you find that resolution, whatever form it may take, it'll just get worse and worse.
Yeah, definitely. And there's a lot of things, small challenges like I have to go do the dishes, or big challenges like what am I going to do with my future?
Right.
And I feel that all of them take active work to complete them.
Absolutely.
It's not, You can't do a little right now and a little next week, because for every step you take forward, you're taking 2 steps back.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's always moving forward and progressing. And this is the same thing, what Brandon Granger was saying about comfort zones. Is a comfort zone is always shrinking.
Yep.
It always is shrinking. So if you're not always pushing against it, you're never going to expand it.
Absolutely.
And so if you walk 50 feet out, tomorrow the comfort zone is going to be 20 feet in.
Mm-hmm.
You got to walk 100 feet out the next day. And if you don't, it's just going to go right back down to zero, and all your progress is going to be gone.
Absolutely. It's something you have to constantly work at. And I think that's a theme we have with almost every episode, is that it's not something you can just do one time and boom, you're done.
Right.
There's no big break. There's nothing like that. You just have to keep working at it.
Yeah. Consistency and persistence.
Mm-hmm.
Power of persistence, episode 2.
Absolutely. And kind of segueing into another topic.
Yeah.
You can't have complete strength until you know your weaknesses. What would you say?
Yeah, I think like everything that we say on here, it's very situational.
Right.
But yeah, like in a general speaking term about yourself, that you kind of do need to be able to assess yourself and see every angle of your weaknesses and strengths.
Well, I'm not saying focus on your weaknesses. I'm saying, if you're in the gym and you're lifting, you can't just focus on where you're strong at. You have to go back and build everything up.
Right.
And so if you're not facing what you're weak at and you're just ignoring it,
yeah,
that's not going to just go away.
Right.
And so a lot of people's biggest weakness is fear.
Mm-hmm.
Fear is very consuming. It's very dangerous. We have an episode with ego on fear.
Yeah.
But I just finished a book, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill.
Mm-hmm.
And the last chapter is about the 6 ghosts of fear.
Yep.
Which I believe you have referenced in an early episode.
Yeah.
Way back in the day. And so I thought it'd be kind of cool to bring in those 6 fears.
Yeah.
I don't want the whole episode to be on them because
right.
This is about strength. But I thought it'd be kind of a cool way. And so according to Napoleon Hill, the 6 major fears, which all fear is kind of subcategorized under these top 6.
Yeah.
The first one is fear of poverty. Second one is fear of criticism. The third is fear of ill health. The fear of loss of love. The fear of old age. And the fear of death.
Yeah. And so those are pretty much all the fears that humans have.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like you said, subcategorized. Pretty much
they
like
somehow fit into those
right.
overall categories.
And so what did you want to talk about with these?
A lot of people ignore these fears.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to strength, they will ask why don't they have any?
Right.
And it's because they don't even realize sometimes in the subconscious mind that these fears are the number one factor.
Right.
And so it takes a lot of strength to even just sit down and point out what your fears are.
Yeah.
And so I think that's really important in terms of building your strength. And if you want more details, feel free to reach out. I can send you what the symptoms of these fears are.
Right.
But it's a really in-depth analysis, nothing that I think we should get into on the podcast.
Yeah, it would take us a couple hours.
I just wanted to say that real quick because along with strength, you do have to – you can't just ignore the weaknesses.
Right, because it ends up hindering it, come down the road. You might be really good at talking to people, but don't like to meet new people.
Right.
And so it's like, well, yeah, you're good at communicating with your friends, but they already know that. How are you going to meet someone new if you don't even like meeting new people?
Exactly.
And so they can kind of clash and go head to head. And it ends up kind of realizing that your strengths, or it makes you realize that, or make you think that you don't have strengths in your strength.
Right.
And which isn't true. Everybody has a strength. I guess if you're watching this and you're here today, I would say you're pretty strong.
Right.
Because you've gotten through a lot of the challenges that life has thrown at you. And unfortunately, some people can't say that.
Absolutely.
And it's really sad to know that happens to people out there. But, at the end of the day, you have to understand that you do have the strength inside of you and that you can get through challenges.
Definitely. And
we were talking about this last night. We were talking about setting a precedence in situations in your life. Mm-hmm. And I wanted to bring this up because this is good for strength. And so it's if you have a challenge in your life, it's a big old wall that you're scared to just run into. But eventually you build up the courage, you build up the wits, you build up the knowledge to go tackle it, mm-hmm. and you blow through that wall. You kind of set that precedent in your life of, I have tackled this challenge. Let's go to the next one. And you go to the next one in the same wall. And you're like, this used to scare the crap out of me. but last time I saw this wall, I crushed it.
Mm-hmm.
So why can't I do it again?
Right.
And so it's that importance of learning, going through a situation that you're scared of. And when you get out of that situation, don't say, oh my gosh, I survived. Thank goodness. Say, I crushed that. I got through it. I'm alive right now. Don't see it as like, thank God I'm out of there. See it as, thank God I was strong enough to get through there.
Right. And start building up your confidence, because it's experience.
Yeah.
You can't get anywhere in life if you don't experience something, learn from it, and now you're better equipped for the next challenge.
Yeah.
If you're lost in the woods and you didn't bring a flashlight, well, next time you're in the woods, you'll probably bring a flashlight.
Right. It's all about setting those precedents.
Yep.
And learning. And also a really important thing is talking to people who have been through those situations, because they can give you a flashlight before you go off in the dark.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So it's so important to talk to other people.
And my favorite analogy that I said last night was just about if you're on a boat that's sinking, because I was kind of saying this from personal experience, your main focus is getting that water out of the boat.
Right.
And you could have someone next to you, if you just ask them, they'll be like, hey, you realize there's a life raft right there.
Yeah.
Stop wasting your time with the boat that's going down.
Yeah.
There's no stopping it. Just get on the lifeboat and get out of there.
Yeah.
And so talking to people gives you that outside perspective. We've talked about that before as well. They're not in that moment. They're not in that panic mode.
Right.
And so they have a lot more clarity and peace of mind, and they have more to offer, more experiences, more knowledge, stuff that you have never heard of possibly.
Yeah.
To just say, hey, what about this? And it just makes sense.
Yeah.
So it's super important to just talk to people.
Yeah, it definitely is. And also one thing that takes a lot of strength is reaching out.
Mm-hmm.
That takes a lot of courage. It takes, sharing your story, talking to somebody, seeing if they have something that they can provide to you. Because it is really hard. Sometimes we like to keep those things to ourselves.
Absolutely.
Because either you might be embarrassed or you might, it might hurt your ego, that kind of thing. And so if you can find somebody that's willing to listen and willing to give you a perspective or some advice, always take that.
100%.
Because you need to talk about these kind of things. They're so important to talk about.
And that's why it is just over and over again, it is repeated that you have to have at least someone that's trusted that you can talk to.
Right.
And if you don't have that person, start searching. You might not even realize they're standing right in front of you.
Right.
But you have to make that connection, or else it's going to be a long journey, and who knows where you'll end up.
Yeah, definitely. So, is there anything else you want to bring up on today's episode? I know it's a Friday episode. It's kind of like a quicker one.
Right.
Something we're filling in here. And also, I thought this was a great message we could kind of spread to people, boost you up for the weekend and get excited for next week.
Definitely. Habits make everything.
They do.
You got to set good habits, and I think everyone does that with the new year.
Yeah.
We're still kind of riding the wave of brand new 2022.
Yeah.
I've already seen a lot of posts on social media that's talking about how it's already horrible.
Dude, that annoys me so much.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, no, the year's already over. Screw this year. I'm like, we're a week in. Come on.
So just start making some good habits for yourself, whether it's diet, whether it's working out, whether it's meeting new people, whether it's just stretch that comfort zone, just like we were talking about.
Yeah.
You have to go 100 yards more than the day before just to keep that level of progress, let alone expand it. And if you want more on comfort zones, episode 15, great episode.
Yeah.
Great guest, Brandon Granger. But yeah, this was just a nice quick episode. Just wanted to be able to keep the continuity of 37, 38.
Yeah, definitely. Because we messed up in the past and we don't want to do it anymore. We're changed. 2022, we're changed people.
100%.
Yeah.
Brand new energy, brand new episodes, brand new content.
Yeah.
It's a fun ride.
If you guys are new here and you like the content, make sure to like and subscribe. Our main channel is YouTube. I don't know if you guys are hearing this on either Apple Music, Apple Podcasts, or Spotify, but we are on, YouTube is our main channel. Mm-hmm. So make sure to go check us out on there. Maybe drop a like, comment on one of our videos, tell us how you found us. Like the Instagram.
Yep.
Follow the Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
And other than that, I hope you guys have a great week.
Yep.
Weekend.
Instagram is the easiest way to contact us. We have been reached out by a few people.
Yeah.
So feel free. It's nothing new. We do check our DMs. But yeah, make sure you guys have a nice, safe weekend. Maybe set some habits for yourself.
Yeah. And pull out a piece of paper, write down all your strengths.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe how your weaknesses are hindering them.
Yep.
Say, well, I used to be strong here, but then this happened, and now I don't even care about that.
Because I know we're working on an outro here, so I'm trying to keep this quick.
Yeah.
But this is like stimulating.
Yeah, we're going in a rabbit hole. All right, guys. I hope you have an awesome weekend, and we will see you Monday.
All right. Happy Friday.
Yeah. See ya.